So when we start getting derailed and we start having conversations that are maybe getting a little too personal or getting a little bit heated or becoming a little unprofessional, we want to go back and ask the question, is this serving our agency and does it support our vision? And if it doesn't, then we need to get back to moving the right direction. Hi, Bobby Fernandez here, Agency Performance Partners Performance Coach. I am so excited to get to talk to you about this pretty robust topic of the best practices of leaving your insurance agency to your family and all about succession planning. This is a really exciting topic. I think one that we don't really dig into enough or think about a strategy really ahead of time. A lot of times agencies, they get to a point where their incumbent leader is getting ready to retire and they start thinking about succession, but that's something we really need to be doing earlier. And that way we can be there during the transition. If you've taken the time to build an insurance agency, then you are amongst an elite and really special group of people. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to really build a business and build a book of business one policy at a time. It's something that is masterful and should be commended. You must have had, a passion and a drive and an entrepreneurial spirit, not just to sell, but to do all of that other stuff that comes along with owning and operating an insurance agency. And all of the things, the human resource issues, the carrier contracts, dealing with claims, dealing with all of the questions. Running an insurance agency is not an easy task. And it's really something that you should be proud of. And I hope that as you are listening to this podcast or reading the blog, that you really do say to yourself, I'm proud of my agency and I'm really proud of what I built. And so my question to you is, if you are proud of your agency, then you must have a plan for what's to come and what's to happen to that legacy, right? And I don't just mean, what is the plan the next year? What is the plan the next 5 years? I am really talking about long-term succession planning. We've already established the fact that you have grounded out and you did the work to really build something that you should be ridiculously proud of. You need to have a plan for what's going to happen when you're ready to grab that blue chair and go hit the beach. You've earned it. And now is your time to let that agency that you've dedicated your life's work to fall apart. That's not what we want to see happen. So we're going to walk you through some strategies. Those people in your life, your family members that love and support you, and many times have had a hand helping you build your business, is your family. You probably write their insurance policies. They may have helped you move from one location to another, or maybe when you were going paperless, your cousin's son, was on spring break and came in and helped you scan all of your files. Your family is there in your agency and they have a vested interest in you and the success of your agency. And so leaving your insurance agency to your family is a wonderful option. And not just immediate family, consider other family members as well. But we're going to guide you through how to plan and the benefits of leaving your insurance agency to your family. So we're going to cover understanding succession planning, assessing the viability of family succession and what that looks like, preparing your family for succession and having those conversations, creating a comprehensive succession plan, involving external advisors, and then managing that transition period, ensuring continuity and growth, and monitoring and adjusting your succession plan for long-term success. The first thing we're going to talk about is really understanding succession planning and what that means. Succession planning is a strategic process that involves identifying, developing, and preparing individuals to come over and take over key roles within your organization. Its purpose is to really ensure a smooth transition of leadership to maintain that continuity when an incumbent or current leader is departing. And that could be due to retirement. Maybe there's some unforeseen circumstances. Maybe you've decided you want to move on and try your hand at something else. By proactively planning for leadership changes, agencies can really mitigate that risk of the leadership vacuum and that loss of institutional knowledge. Your agency principal is probably your agency's best historian, and we don't want to lose all that history and knowledge. And then we also don't want to be having a lot of disruptions in operations if we can really do this well. Succession planning really aims to identify and develop those talented individuals and then provide them with the necessary training and experience that they're going to need to be able to take over effectively and efficiently. And it creates a pipeline of capable leaders. This could be people that are internal. They see a pathway, they see a career pathway, and that's going to be critical for them to be able to step into additional roles when they're needed. So having a succession plan really offers a lot of key benefits. It ensures that your agency continuity by identifying those potential successors and minimizing those disruptions. It can mitigate that risk for unexpected departures or retirement because the key personnel is there safeguarding that operational stability. And succession planning fosters employee engagement and retention by providing growth opportunities and clear career pathways. And it preserves that institutional knowledge that we talked about and expertise, preventing the loss of that critical information. And then it allows for effective talent management and development. It cultivates that pipeline of skilled individuals that are really ready to assume leadership roles if they need to in a pinch. A well-executed succession plan strengthens an agency's resilience, adaptability, and long-term success. A lack of succession planning can really present challenges and risks, though, to an agency. Agencies might face that leadership vacuum where you've got a lot of people doing the tasks, but no real leadership. And that's something that can be extremely detrimental for an agency. That loss of knowledge and the disruption in operations when key personnel depart unexpectedly. If there's a lack of preparedness for leadership transition, it can really result in delays and inefficiencies, and it ultimately affects our customer, which is what we don't want to see happen. We have to save our customer from our dysfunction. Without a succession plan, talented team members might leave due to the fact that they have limited growth opportunities. And agencies might also struggle to identify and develop future leaders. So it's not sustainable over the long term. Overall, the plan for succession can jeopardize when we don't have one. It can jeopardize the stability growth of an agency's success and everything that you have worked so hard to accomplish. And that's what we want to try and avoid. Now that we really understand, the benefits and pitfalls of either having or not having a succession plan, let's talk about assessing the viability of family succession. This makes sense a lot of times when thinking about what are you going to do with your agency. Your family is probably the first thing that comes to mind. But you really need to evaluate the interests and the capabilities of those family members. And this can be a little bit challenging because this is really where, we have to have a lot of real honesty that comes into play. And we have those two key factors that we're going to consider. Are they capable? In that first list, you want to start narrowing down who are we considering that we are considering capable. And this doesn't just mean that this is your relative and so the job is automatically theirs. Don't make this mistake. If you find that someone is not capable, then we need to start looking other places. Now, it doesn't mean that these people have to be ready to jump right in and take on those leadership roles immediately. It just means that they have the ability and the qualities that we deem necessary to be able to learn to take over those roles in the future. And we'll talk more about the strategies that we're going to use later on in this podcast. But let's just start with a list of viable family members. We're going to consider all family, not just immediate family. We talked a little bit about, maybe we had somebody's son come in and help us with the download, and maybe that's my favorite nephew. And so that's going to be my choice. So it doesn't just have to be kids or spouses. Look outside to some extended family in this case. If your list is a little robust at this point, that's okay, because we're going to go ahead and narrow that down with the next question. And our next question is there interest? This one might be a hard one because we're on a discovery mission here. We're not looking to make any commitments. We're not talking to cousin Mary's son, Joe, to say, hey, I'm going to leave you this agency. Are you interested? What we're trying to do is gauge interest on behalf of the other person. And again, this is where we're going to have some true, honest moments with ourselves and with the other person, our capable candidates, because we want to understand, do they really have interest in seeing your legacy through and getting on the same page and learning all of the leadership and development opportunities? Are they vested into that so that we know that they are the right fit? And they may not be. But if this opportunity really lights someone up and they are on your capable list, then maybe this is your next successor. Just remember, it's going to be really, really important to be honest. Now that you've narrowed down, so we identified, are they capable and are they interested? And now that we've narrowed down that list of possible candidates, considering their capabilities and their interests, now we're really going to start considering some of the things that they would bring to the table. And you'd want to look at things like relevant industry experience and expertise. Do they have any sales and marketing skills? How about leadership and management abilities? Maybe they have some business development skills or financial management, communication and interpersonal skills. Technology proficiency. This can be a place where agencies really lack current skill set, and you could bring somebody in that has a lot of technology proficiency. Regulatory compliance, problem solving and analytical thinking. All of those skills that an agency owner and an agency leader would need to drive your agency forward. So it doesn't necessarily have to be insurance experience, and they may not have that now, and that's okay. We can teach that, but they are going to have some of the fundamentals of some of these other areas. And we're going to have a strategy if they don't have those fundamentals on how we're going to give them the opportunity to grow in those areas. The last step before we move on to preparing for succession is going to be considering the long-term goals and the vision of the agency. It's a very important step that many agencies miss creating clarity around and can really lead to a much larger problem. And we believe that clarity is kind. And so anytime we can create clarity for people, this is the kind thing to do. And so we want to make sure that we have a vision statement. Our vision statement communicates where our business is going and how we intend to get there. And then we want to have our long-term goals, and we want to be very specific about those long-term goals. They may vary depending upon your size and your focus and your strategic vision. And those long-term goals may change over time, but we want to make sure that everybody is really in alignment with where we see ourselves going. We're going to go ahead and move forward from this section, and we're going to talk about preparing your family for succession. So what I'd love for you to do right now is go to the blog, download the freemium content of the family contract. This is a great way to get families on the same page when it comes to discussing points that are going to come up in this next section. Preparing your family. When we're leaving our insurance agency to our family, open and honest communication with family members is key to success. And this means we have to check our egos at the door and focus on the goals of the agency. We did that back in the last section, right? So we're focusing on the goals of our agency. Honesty may not always be easy for us to hear, And we might feel really defensive when we receive criticism. This is our baby. This is our agency. We've spent our blood, sweat, and tears building this. So conversations may feel very personal. And maybe sometimes when we're talking to our family, things can get off track a little bit from the true purpose of what we're trying to do. But we always have to ask our question to ourselves and get going. When we get going off on the wrong pathway, is how is this serving my agency, and does it support our vision? So when we start getting derailed and we start having conversations that are maybe getting a little too personal or getting a little bit heated or becoming a little unprofessional, we want to go back and ask the question, is this serving our agency, and does it support our vision? And if it doesn't, then we need to get back to moving the right direction. Nurturing professional development and skills for your emerging leaders during succession planning is going to help them build those skills that they need when you're not available. You're going to need to give them those opportunities to grow and strengthen those skills and build their confidence. This may be skills that you determined, in that list when we were analyzing their capabilities. It may also mean that after they've come in, you might discover some other potential areas of improvement. And so you need to be honest about those things and give them the skills and the development that they need to grow in those areas. And when you recognize those areas of improvement for your future leaders, also know your staff is recognizing those areas too. So we build trust with our staff when we provide the ability for our leaders to learn and grow. It really garners a lot of respect with the team when they see that the action is being taken to improve the skills of their future leader. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to establish some clear expectations and roles. And this is going to be really important. Many agency owners have a difficult time releasing some of those responsibilities that they are used to doing on a day-to-day. But we really have to give others the opportunity and use those times as teachable moments. Is somebody going to fall and skin their knees? Absolutely. They're going to make mistakes, but the great part about it is you're going to be there to mentor them, to give them the tutelage they need to help them get them going in the right direction. And that is the joy of doing early succession planning, is you have the ability to still guard that and make sure that it doesn't affect your agency negatively. The next thing we're going to talk about is creating a comprehensive succession plan. So when transitioning your insurance agency, it is crucial to identify all of the legal and financial aspects that are involved. From the legal perspective, it may be reviewing contracts, licenses, compliance requirements, ensuring that you have a smooth transfer of clients' policies, and maintaining regulatory obligations. Financially, you have to be assessing your agency's valuation, assets, liabilities. This is vital. Understanding the financial impacts of the transition, including the costs associated with an acquisition or restructuring, evaluating your revenue streams, and forecasting future financial performance is going to be essential in this process. So identifying and addressing these legal and financial considerations early on can really help you facilitate a successful and well-managed transition during this process. So find partners that you trust in this area to work with. The other thing is when you're planning for succession, documenting the ownership transfer and establishing clear governance structure are critical steps. So this involves legal agreements, buy-sell agreements, partnership agreements, outlining terms of ownership and transfer. So there's a lot of, legal and financial things that come with transitioning your agency, making sure that you have some great people on board to help you with that governance structure, providing clarity, minimizing those conflicts, and facilitating a successful transition is going to be super important. We want to make sure that we are outlining the timeline and the key milestones. That way, everyone stays on track with the timeline. We want to make sure that we are setting specific dates, time frames at important stages. When will responsibilities transfer from one leader to another leader? Key milestones on getting these things completed, such as having a comprehensive evaluation for the agency, identifying and grooming those successors, when all of that will happen. So there's a lot of things that have to happen there when it comes to creating that comprehensive succession plan. And so it's going to be important as we lead into our next section, which is involving those external advisors. So legal and financial professionals are vital, and their roles are vital in this with your insurance agency. Find partners that you trust that will guide you through these processes. They can be complicated. Getting your agency valuation, whether you are ready to retire or whether you are ready to sell or whether this is not a long way from now. Agency valuations are important to know where you are at, and every agency should have one. We have a blog in this blog and in this podcast. If you go find it, there is actually a podcast with our friend Carrie Wallace from Agency Focus, and she does agency valuations. And this will give you a little bit more insight on the importance of an agency evaluation. The next thing you really want to consider with involving external advisors is engaging with consultants and experts for their strategic guidance. That's what we do here at Agency Performance Partners. And if you need help setting up a succession plan, we are here to help you with that. But we also know that this is a vital piece of what happens during this process. We bring the specialized knowledge and experience of how to navigate these complexities and also working with family. It's really nice sometimes to just have that impartial third party that has a very objective opinion about this process. Being able to give you some insight on market trends, the competitive landscape, and industry best practices are all things that a consultant really brings to the table. They can really assist you in developing a comprehensive succession plan, talent development strategies, and contingency plans. Be sure to leverage expertise of those partners that you trust. The third thing we want you to really think about is utilizing your industry networks for mentorship. Their support is going to be invaluable. You probably have a network of other agency owners that you may spend time with. Maybe you even travel with. You might golf with or go do some other things with. And these are people that are going to help guide you through this process as well. They're going to have some fresh perspective on the challenges and the opportunities. They'll be able to connect you with other industry professionals. So take the opportunity, leverage these networks to foster a really supportive community, enhance your learning, and it really helps you ensure a successful and well-informed succession of your agency. So the next thing I really want to talk about is managing that transition period. So balancing leadership responsibilities between outgoing and incoming generations is really critical in planning for succession. It really involves a very collaborative and a lot of communication between you and the next generation of leaders. You want to be establishing a mentoring program, shadowing opportunities, and knowledge transfer initiatives, because once you depart, all of that knowledge and expertise departs with you. And so we need to be downloading that knowledge into the brain of our next agency leaders. It's going to be so helpful to balance that out for us to have a seamless transfer. Implementing these effective strategies for knowledge transfer and training is critical when planning. And so you want to really consider all of those items. How do you establish a mentor program to pass that knowledge along? Can this person go out with you on calls or sit with you in meetings? And then investing in ongoing training and development programs. Maintaining client relationships and trust during your agency's succession is essential for a successful transition. We have to have open and transparent communication with our clients about changes that are coming down the pipeline. They know you. Your name may even still be on the building. So we want to make sure that our clients feel loved and cared for and comfy during this transition. And it's going to be your job to make sure that you foster that familiarity and help build the client's confidence in the next generation of leaders while you're still there. We want to make sure that we retain those key staff members who also have long-term relationships with those clients, because that's going to really ensure that we have a seamless transition. We want to make sure that our loyal clients know and understand that we still love them and that they can still trust us. And that's going to be really important to our retention during this time period. Again, we don't want our clients experiencing our dysfunction. So that leads right into ensuring continuity and growth. So implementing this effective agency management and reporting system is going to be critical. It is so crucial. We have to make sure that we have established clear roles and responsibilities, and that we've developed a comprehensive organizational structure, and that we have documented processes and procedures. We worked on those things previously, so we have clear roles, responsibilities. Then we have a comprehensive organizational structure, and we have processes and procedures documented. Now it's time for the fun stuff, the numbers. We love numbers, and we believe that you cannot operate a business on feelings. You have to operate a business on facts. So if you are not doing reporting now, this is something you need to be thinking about. We have to be utilizing our technology in order to give us the reports and the numbers that we need to be able to drive our decisions. We can be using our agency management system reports, maybe use a CRM, phone reports, agency financials, and any other kind of agency technology that you may be using. But understanding this data to be able to streamline our operations, enhance our efficiencies, and ensure that everyone has clarity on how we are going to allocate agency resources. We have to be reviewing regularly these numbers because the system may need to adapt or change with our market conditions. We have to make sure that we have really good communication and training. It's so essential around everything that we're doing. And we have to understand and follow the established systems. And this is going to promote our long-term success and continuity. We cannot operate, again, I'm going to say it again, we cannot operate a business on feelings. We have to have metrics because we really need to be able to identify and problem solve quickly. As the transitioning leadership plans their exit strategy, it's going to be really important to encourage innovation and adapting of changing market trends and technology. And the goal of planning is to keep the agency moving forward under new leadership. You can't get in the way of innovation here. You cannot become the growth and prevention department during this time. I know that may be difficult to hear, but maybe your new leadership has some really great ideas on some technology that will help them be more effective or efficient. And just because it's the way we've always done it does not mean that that's right. We have to really allow and encourage the new generation to explore technology, to explore enhancements to our processes and our procedures, and make that agency more efficient. And Our role will be to guide them through this process on how to analyze a new piece of technology, how to go out and source something selected, and how to adopt and implement that technology so that you can keep your agency on the cutting edge of innovation. In every decision in this process, it's going to be key to continue to emphasize the agency's core values and remain laser focused on your customer-centric approach. Always asking that question we asked earlier, which is, how does this serve my agency? And does it support our vision? It's vital that our customers remain the center of our focus and don't experience our dysfunction. We can create a seamless transition for them and have really great retention and continue to grow our agency. We need to empower our team with the knowledge that they need to enhance the opportunity for personal growth, career development, and if you would like, you could do that with a seat in our agency school. There is a link in this blog. Investing in your team's growth and development and knowledge and career pathway, they will love you for it. And a really easy way to do that is to get them a seat in our agency school, and they're going to be getting all of the knowledge that they need. So go grab a seat if you don't have one already. So now I want to talk about monitoring and adjusting your succession plan. Regularly reviewing and updating your succession plan to keep you on track is going to be really important. This allows you to address any unforeseen challenges that may come up. You can make adjustments to strategies as they arise, but having regularly scheduled meetings and a well thought out agenda for each meeting is going to allow you to stay focused and keep everybody on the same page. I want you to be sure that you honor this planning time. This doesn't mean that, I had a client walk in, or, I decided I'm going to go to this luncheon that this carrier is hosting today. This is our time to strategize and work on our agency. And so we really need to make sure that we are honoring these times and one another during these meetings. We want to make sure that we're asking for feedback and that we're getting input from our family members and any other stakeholders that are involved, because they're going to really help us identify any blind spots. And they really want nothing but the best outcome for us because they have a vested interest in the success of our agency. And they know that you've worked hard. They've been there with you. And so they want to see you be successful. In conclusion, implementing a successful succession plan for leaving your insurance agency to your family can really have a lot of long-term benefits. First, it ensures that seamless transition of leadership and operational control. It maintains the agency's stability and that wonderful reputation and legacy that you've built. Second, it provides financial security for your loved ones, because they're going to inherit a well-established business with a loyal client base that you've spent all these years creating. Additionally, a carefully crafted succession plan enables the preservation of your agency's values, the culture that you've built, and your unique expertise that you bring to the table. It allows your family to continue to build on your legacy. Also, involving your family members in the succession planning process, you foster their professional growth and development. You equip them with that necessary skill and knowledge. And lastly, a successful succession plan can create a sense of pride and unity and purpose within a family, promoting a shared vision for the future of the agency. I hope that you found this information very useful. If you need assistance taking proactive steps towards creating a solid plan for your future and your family's future and to protect your legacy, Agency Performance Partners is here to help. I encourage you to use the link below to book a meeting with one of our expert consultants and they can partner with you to help you guide you through this process. When you have the right people on your team, you can make a smooth transition and have a lot of fun while we're doing it. I look forward to seeing you next time.